All right, welcome everybody. This is the Waiting Room Podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Waite. Today I am here with my buddy, my longtime friend. I have not spoken to him in too long. This is
Long
Jamie Beard. Jamie, say hi to everybody.
going on, everybody. I was just seeing it open up on Facebook.
So, today, everybody, we are going to talk on what is. Today, it's not so much what's bothering Kyle. It's just it piqued my interest when I saw it. I mean, I wanted to talk about it. Of course, what happened last night, it was disappointing. I'm going to be honest. Not disappointed. We've all talked about this. I'm a Kings fan. I was happy as hell to see the Lakers lose, but I did call for a win. Matter of fact, everybody I called for a win on the last podcast lost. So I might have a jinx going for anybody. Sorry if it's your favorite team. But on top of that, we are going to get to Jamie's story. I wanted to bring him on, have him talk a little bit about himself and where he's at, where he's going.
What's so special about me?
I mean, well, let's be honest. What's so special about you for me? For everyone that doesn't know, which I'm 9,000% positive, there's nobody that's watching this podcast that knows mine and Jamie's relationship that well. Jamie is probably I can't say he's the first. The first person to straighten me out was my guest last week, Destiny. But the first person to physically sit me down and say, hey, you need to act right was this man. He also taught me the merit of separating your friendship from work. Every time I was at work, it was Sergeant. Every time I was at a bowling alley or at his house and I said, Sergeant, he would look at me like I had 7 heads and then proceed to ignore me until I called him by his name. Which you took your sweet time sitting at, hey, you want to talk to me, call me Jamie. I was like, oh. I was unaware I could do that, even civilian clothes. But again, it's one of the people that was there for me early in my career. One of a handful of people between you, Destiny last week, maybe one or two other people. Sergeant King, miss that guy.
You heard from him?
Looked out for me early, and if it wasn't for those people, I probably do not currently have my 14-year military career.
You had about 2.
I was, I think I think it would have been at less than 2 if it wasn't. Yeah, no, I think somewhere around there. Yeah, my career would have ended probably shorter than I would have liked it to. Again, it's one of those things where you meet a person that have that infectious personality, does not always immediately click. Jamie, you and I were talking a little bit offline. Do you want to share with everybody what you did to straighten me out?
Oh, all right. I can tell the chart. Let me put my phone in. Take. Ramos just texted.
Hey, Ramo. Shit.
Okay. Ramos a little tank. Oh my god. Got a lot of stories for everybody. But yeah, so story was Kyle, he was a knucklehead when he came in. He was the definition of that entitled knucklehead, And somebody told me, but I didn't really believe it. Oh, you know what? When I went to the training myself, you were finishing up. That's where it was. You were finishing up. You went down the flag before me. Now I knew I was gonna be working with you. And but anyway, when we got down there, I was. What were you working on? Oh, he's working on parachute, and I would ask questions all the time, and he would. I said so. I think it was the pool test. I'm pretty sure it was a pool test on the ejector snap.
Probably.
What's the thing? I don't know if he had attitude that day because he knew all the answers. What's the full force on that? He was like, you gave the wrong answer. It was like something to 11. I'm like, oh, what's this? Something wrong. I'm like, okay. how's this Android assembly work? He was like, I don't know. I was like, oh, how does hair gel work? Because he had perfect hair all the time, just like his hair was always gelled up. And he looked at me like, now you're just being condescending. And I'm like, no, I'm just asking you a question. Then you storm off and pouting about it. So I go out there, and he was on the picnic table where everybody smoked at, like just sitting on the top. And I'll go up to him, not as like, you will not do this, you will not talk to me. It's like, man, hey, Kyle, what's going on? Man, because it's because of you. You always stumble. Got in my face, and I walked off, and I told him to come with me. And um, everybody was in the. Well, some people were out in the flatline section. I said, everybody get the fuck out here. And everybody comes out. Chelsea comes out. Homie's home. She comes out. Everybody comes out. I think even Fulbright came out.
Yeah.
Everybody there. Everybody was there. And I said, y'all think I question people, like target people? And then there's like, no, you're the same with everybody. Like, you show us how to do this, da da da. And I said, this dude seems to think I do. And you just standing there with your fist
Oh,
clenched.
I was mad, man, and I don't need to this day. I couldn't tell you what I was mad about. Had
Don't
nothing to do with you,
nothing.
but I was I was mad, and I was like, hey,
Yeah, you
I think I'm gonna fight this guy.
yeah, you were really big mad. Like, so when what happened after oh, so you come but you standing there, but he's like just following me with his eyes. And I get in his face and I'm like just thinking about me like in his face, and I'm like, oh, this dude is serious. He wants to fight me. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
I'm like, trust me, this ain't what you want. And I said, nah, I have your I send your ass back to Cali. And like I was threatening to kick you out. I said it's gorgeous out in Cali. Like and then you was like I was like, did you end up going outside? I think you end up crying at the end of that. I'm pretty sure now I remember. I think you went outside.
I don't know if I did, but I don't know if we need to be sharing that with the group.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you cried. It's all right, man.
Probably. I
Probably.
mean, I'm not even gonna deny it at this point. You've got a good memory, and mine's
Yeah,
terrible.
everything's coming to me now. But all right, men cry. Man, I'm like, then after that, you changed your ways completely. You was on it, and you all. I don't know how many times you thanked me for that. You know, even the other day when I contact you, uh, and I always I've told that story like over the years, like man, because people are like, man, as an NCO, you shouldn't go past certain lines with people, like you shouldn't. And I'm like, I've done that. Like I'm a resiliency instructor too, right? So
Right.
I said that same story in my classes. Like we think about things before you do them, and I was like, I should have thought about that because it could have turned out he could have just like tried to hit me. And next thing you know, we fighting.
Yeah.
And I said, but it worked out for the best for that part, you know. Um, and you reminded me like when we like at home like because when everybody come over to the house like it's Jamie like and Mr. Reese is always like, man, you are too nice to them. I was like, why do I need to be mean? They want to work for me. Like, yeah, I don't gotta
Yeah.
get go do anything. You know, uh, people I don't even know like Monkowski. Like I didn't know them from anybody. Come over and Perkins. They all right. We're working. You know, we just all had a good relationship. But yeah, that's how we got to get pull your head out your ass.
I mean, it worked, and like you said, it doesn't work for everybody. I've definitely seen the other side where somebody jumps, but I mean that really was what I need. I mean, I wasn't, you know, I mean you already know I wasn't mad at you.
Yeah,
I mean that was the thing. Is like I needed somebody to be like, hey, at a certain point, teach me certain thing, life lessons, and
right.
hey, you can definitely get your ass whooped, if you want it. I mean, and I'm not saying that's definitely the way to handle people, but
Right.
some people need to, hey, like, we're cool, but you could definitely get your ass whooped.
Yeah, and I thought about it too because I was like, if you want the smoke, I was gonna give it to you right there. Like it wasn't gonna be a punch thrown, but I was gonna like just ragdoll you. And
Oh, that was, I'll be honest, that's what I was worried about because it's like, hey, like, he's not slow. Like, he's like, he's a bigger dude,
yeah,
but
I
he's
was like, I'm not
slow
that.
either, to where, like, it's not like I can't pick and pop you because it's like physically I could not match you at the time. But
And you were mad, so it.
I was, yeah, it wouldn't have gone, and I knew that.
Yeah,
And like you were saying before, like, waiting for my eyes to change and like it to click. Like, it clicked, and I was like, if I go down this road, like, one, my military career is done. It's done because I've been acting up a little bit before before that. But I mean, on top of that, I was like, so my military career might be done. I was like, also, I might get my ass whooped in front of everybody. I was like,
it was so
really?
many people in there too. It was like
Oh,
over the top people. I don't know if it's shit.
everybody. You caught? I didn't expect everybody came out for that, and I was like,
When
oh,
they came out the ceiling. Like I don't know what was going on. I think it was King that came down in this because the King used to pop up out of anywhere. He's like, hey, boss, some. Everything was a secret when he would talk like it was like he came. We used to be like, King gonna come down from the damn ceiling tiles in a minute and be like, hey, y'all heard that.
oh, I mean, you could hear. I mean, he was over in O2, so you could definitely hear you yell into flight line. And he'd hear something over in O2 and be like, "I'm on it."
Yeah.
Yeah, it like I said, it's one of those things. It's not for everyone.
Right.
That's another thing that I'll say that you taught me was the different. It took probably until I got to ALS for it to like really sink in. Um, but I definitely remember being taught like, hey, like, you can't teach everybody the same way. If everybody doesn't react the same way to certain things.
Right.
I mean, like, if I was a little dumber that day, I mean, it could have definitely gone a different way. And
You probably would have never got in trouble though.
I see, it's one of those things.
Yeah, I would have never done anything. Like you would have probably just got thrown around a little couple times, but it would have been like you would learn your lesson by the time you went through the.
Right. It's definitely one of those things. Being that was 2008, the military was still a little. I'm pretty sure we were still wearing BDUs.
Yeah, we were.
Still wearing
Some
BDUs.
or I think shit. Like I wasn't. Ramos wasn't. Ramos was still wearing them. Whitney was still wearing them. I got there and I had mine on. My ABUs on.
Yep. I was about to say, it's like you switched before I went to Germany because I
I,
remember.
I switched before I got there.
Yeah, because I remember I looked like a sore thumb because I didn't switch until I got back from Germany, and then got relentlessly pummeled by maintenance on the plane back because they're like, "Oh, you got an extra stripe on them that may be used," and they're like, "Hey."
It's fun.
That it was on the plane. Like, we were in Ireland when all these dudes discovered, like, oh, airman weight is A1C weight now, and those dudes just like, hey, line it up, and just went hammering on my arms. So I rode from Ireland to Canada, just sore arms. Like, this is it's the
Right.
worst in the world. But I also felt like, hey, like, these dudes must actually like me, or maybe they really hated me. I don't know. But like, tab me, like, I know it's tradition. You line up, you get punched in the arm. But
That was how we got your head out your ass.
I mean, it worked for the most part. Like I said, I still have my moments. I won't pretend with anybody that I don't still have my moments where I act up a little bit, but I can definitely sit down and tell those stories to people and be like, hey, look, like, I am the example of certain things you should not do at times. I'm also, I try to be the example now on, hey, this is what you should be doing. But
Yeah. Well,
uh,
got that experience.
yeah, I mean, I'm happy for it. All right, so this first thing, we started every show with it. It's what's on my mind. So just being, in San Antonio, if I look at San Antonio news, honestly, kids get snatched up. There's murders. I mean, occasionally we get happy stories. So, I click on the world news, click on the United States news, and of course, thing runs across my line. Hey, it's COVID lotteries. And I was like, what's a COVID lottery? What is it? Is it, or like, are we out of vaccines? As some of you know, I'm still not vaccinated. I'm exercising the choice that I'm given by the military because I don't often get one. So, like, hey, you're like, we out of vaccines? Like, what's going on? Click on it. I mean, it's what it sounds like. It's a COVID lottery. It is a, hey, you have a COVID shot, you could win some money. I'll be honest. It sounds funny. It sounds like oh man, like I get a shot, I get some money. The military's trying a lesser form of this, like, hey, you can go do stuff if you're vaccinated.
Right.
But other states are like, hey, you know what? Talks stuff talk. It really does. So far, I think what we have is something like, I think it's 7 states that are doing a lottery. I think if we're including the one that's already done in Ohio, let's see, we're at Ohio, Canada, Nevada, Minnesota, Arkansas, New York, Delaware, Maryland, and Oregon. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 states really, kind of see the country as it is. They do. They see it as it is. Hey, we had a very quick start off. I think they said it's something like 3 million per day we're getting vaccinated. And some states are concerned because we're down nationally to about 1 million per day. Not terrible numbers, but if you want herd immunity, if you want things to be a little safer for everyone, I understand. You want to incentivize people. Ohio kind of proved it worked. Ohio was giving away $1 million. $1 million for their COVID lottery. 45% increase. I mean,
Did anybody?
I'm not even saying I agree with it. It's just they're kind of proving, hey, if we give you stuff, people are going to want to do it. By the way, everyone, Jamie's from the state of Ohio, so I mean, kudos to your state for if they want it, if they want people to be vaccinated, they want to have it wide open. Or you could just be like my state in Texas and do whatever you want. And I mean, as of today, we're actually wide open. No more companies are requiring, or no more companies can require masks. I honestly don't care. There's a small kids museum I take my daughter to. We have a membership. They make me wear a mask. I don't care. I want my daughter to have fun. I'll wear a mask. I don't care. But as of today, that's gone away in Texas. But if you want to be like some states, hey, California took it a step further. They're giving away $116 million. Not just like to one person. It's going to be spread out. Yeah, right? Makes you wish you were a resident of California, right?
Yeah.
Hey, California's giving away $116 million. I believe there's going to be 1.5 million for 10 winners, so roughly 15 million. And then they're just, they're going to give out money here and there to people. If you're vaccinated, sign up. That's what I'll tell you.
Cali is just serious about it though. They were shut down. Everything was shut down.
Right. Well, various parts of it. Like I'm from Northern Cali. Northern Cali is doing its darndest to be Texas and be like, hey, we want to be wide open. We don't align with Los Angeles and San Francisco and the bigger cities. And I get it. But yeah, California is showing it serious. Some of the other things, just because I think some of it's just kind of for the area. You think it's funny. Minnesota, fishing licenses. I mean, it's a very Minnesota thing to give away. Get vaccinated, get your fishing license for the year. not expensive, but
Right.
free fishing license.
Yeah,
Arkansas. Arkansas is probably the funniest just for me. They're giving scratch offs away. Jamie and I were both stationed in Arkansas. I mean, past given, you know, a hunting license. I don't know. I feel like a scratch off is probably the most Arkansas thing you can do if you.
Oh, for real, it is.
But I mean, it's one of those things. If I'm a New York and Delaware, I do find what some people are trying to do at least commendable. Delaware and New York are giving away scholarships, giving money for education. Again, if we are trying to encourage people to do it, there are states willing to step out and say, "Hey, we'll give you." And if you're asking if it works, I mean, again, Ohio is where we're at. We will see with some of these other states, and I'm sure more states will probably jump in line to do it. If they aren't already just wide open. Um, hey, we want you to be vaccinated. We'll give you stuff. I commend places that are, hey, we really want you to be vaccinated, so we'll give you a chance. And some places are giving more chances than others. Maryland's giving away, I think it's 40,000 to 40 people. I mean, I know some people worried about state debt, um, things like that. But again, if you want a wide open state, I get it. If you're the decision maker there, what I'll say, what I've always said from the beginning: if you're going to get vaccinated or if you're against it, be educated about it. That's it. That's it. I don't see anything wrong with people getting vaccinated. I don't see anything wrong with people choosing to not get vaccinated, other than, yes, it could make it more difficult for other people. But again, this is America. We have the freedom of choice. You're actually being given it. Just educate yourself on the actual things. Don't read. I'm not saying Fox News is always wrong. I'm not saying, CNN is always wrong. I'm just saying they do push out what they push out. Find reasons for why you feel is wrong, because I guarantee they are out there and they'll educate you more. You want to be in an echo chamber? Go ahead. I'm not the guy for it. I kind of like being told I'm wrong, because then I learn something. It's where I'm at with it. I'd love to be, right and say, hey, maybe these vaccinations will give me superpowers when I finally have to get one. I don't think I'm going to be that lucky, though. I think it's going to be with the other mix of stuff the military's given me. Um, it's just going to be in that little floating pool around my body. So, yeah. So I fundamentally, I disagree with it. You shouldn't have to give stuff away for people to do it. But again, I do commend states for up and saying, hey, we really want you to do it. We'll give you stuff because it works.
It makes sense, though. It makes sense to do it, though. Like, especially if nobody's getting it, like, at all. That's whatever you got to do to make people get it, to get this damn pandemic and get the stimulate this economy back,
Right. I mean, as of yesterday, I believe it was, I feel bad for not actually remembering the source that it was, 41% of Americans are vaccinated. Like fully vaccinated. I think they said it was somewhere in the 50s for partial vaccination. Um, Again, we want the world to go back to normal. I'm not saying you have to go get vaccinated. I am saying you should be educated, though. That's it. That's it.
I agree.
And maybe this next topic should have been my irritation. As I said, I was wrong. I was wrong. I had people at me yesterday, specific this, maybe not the second the game ended, but they made sure, hey, Kyle, you were wrong. I want you to know I don't care. I'm a Sacramento Kings fan. Also, I love MJ. I'm never sad to see the Lakers lose. I'm never sad to see LeBron lose. But yes, I was wrong. I predicted a game six Lakers win. And if I'm being honest, LeBron came out with the most flaccid performance he's had since that Boston series in 2010. That's how I feel about it. That's how I feel about it. He went 11 for 26. He kind of tried. Um, but what I was expecting as somebody, that's why I predicted what I did. As somebody who has come to expect great things from who I deem the second best player to ever pick up a basketball, I expected him to at least throw the middle finger out. Throw out a Kobe game, throw out 50 shots. I don't give a shit. Hurt your teammates' feelings. I don't care. But I mean, 11 for 26. We're criticizing a guy that ended up with like almost a triple double. End of the day, we're criticizing a guy that ended up with almost a triple double. I think it's funny. Um, but did I expect more? Yes, because we should expect great things from the second best player to ever play the game of basketball. Uh, with that, we have to give the Suns their love. You have to give the Suns their roses. You have to tell them, oh, we lost Jamie for a second. He'll be back. He'll be back, everybody. Don't worry. We do want to center the show around him. He's one of my favorite people out there. Um, but again, we've come to expect great things from LeBron, but the Suns, I mean, hey, Devin Booker, I don't agree that he is a top 5 player in the NBA. Again, I said I think he's a top 15 player. There we go. He's back.
I don't know what happened. You said my phone was overheating. What the hell's going on?
I don't know. You breathing heavy on it?
Man, no, I was breathing heavy on it. I don't know what was going on, man. It doesn't make sense. I don't know. Probably because I'm talking to you. You know how that.
Might be. I made things a little too spicy.
Maybe talking about LeBron like he ain't got no sense.
Hey, man! Like I said, we expect great things. The Suns did what they should have done. No Anthony Davis. That's really it. Like it comes down to no Anthony Davis. Alex Caruso got hurt in that game. KCP was playing injured. When he did play, I think a healthy Lakers team wins. Like end of the day, but did I expect LeBron to at least throw up the middle finger? Hey, if we're losing, I'll call it a Brett Favre game, if you will. If we're losing because of me. 26 shots suggests that he definitely made the attempt. But if it's me, if you're asking what Kyle want, I did, hey, 30, 40, no AD, 30, 40 shots. LeBron's LeBron. I'll at least give him the respect he deserves in that respect. Um, I expected more. But again, we are criticizing a man who, almost hit a triple double in the game. Did you watch
Yeah.
the game last night, Jamie?
No, I didn't watch it. I
I
I
don't blame.
I,
I don't
I,
blame.
I forget that stuff is on. Like I was telling you before. Um, Plus I didn't. I got like a luck thing. If things aren't going quite the way I think they should, I don't get on there and watch because I think I'm gonna mess it up. And then, even though I felt like, man, it's getting too close, and I watch the highlights and stuff like that, and like
Right.
Suns team is quick, and it's like, man, I'm kind of worried. But listen to what everybody's talking about. Um, if LeBron is coming out and performing like that, man, I was like, man, his heart was gone. Yeah, so
Oh,
you and I were talking about because I'm a LeBron fan all the way. Um,
yep.
I'm an MJ fan all the way. Um, that was the only reason I watched basketball is because of Jordan and then Iverson. But the difference is between them is that killer instinct that that he needs to have because right now, like we we seem to forget that Jordan paid for the Wizards and and how
Yep.
it's changed and they weren't a winning team, all this
No.
kind of stuff. We knew why he was doing it, but at the same time, um, when he was trying, he went out winning. You know,
Yep.
he went out winning, and LeBron lost after winning all these championships. He lost in the first round, his first time. Like, he took Eric Snow to the finals. That's
Yep.
so you take Eric Snow to the finals, you can take this Lakers team even when it's not like at its peak, and you know
At least out of the first round.
at least out of if they got a first round, they could have pulled it out, and we could have got that match that we wanted. The Nets.
I mean, and that's what I've been saying since I started the podcast is I'm a fan of a smaller market team, but I'm not going to pretend like having a good New York team or now Brooklyn because people don't realize like Brooklyn's a culture. There's something that comes with having a good Brooklyn sports team,
Right.
a good LA sports team, a good Boston sports team. I mean, I hate the Patriots, but I mean, you know, people still paid attention to the Patriots all year. Like, hey, are they going to pull it out? Are they, it's more fun for sports to have some of your bigger market teams be good. But you're right. It does call into question because that was the one thing. It was the one thing that people would always throw on that LeBron argument. People would always throw, well, hey, LeBron's never lost in the first round. That was the big thing. Oh well, LeBron missed the playoffs. Part of it was, hey, well, he was hurt. Okay, you can buy that, but the big thing is, hey, he kind of lost that legacy aspect of, oh, what's going on? He lost in the first round.
Yeah, you go from champion to losing the first round.
And there's, like I said, there's other factors that played into it. Two of his best teammates were injured. I do believe Alex Caruso is a pest the way that Bruce Bowen was a pest.
Right.
Like, I don't think he's some world beater, but he's definitely one of those guys you're like, oh, like we're a better team with him. I will say he had to have been hurt before because that was getting smoked. He was getting smoked by Booker early in that game anyway.
Mm.
But yeah, like I said, with LeBron, it's one of those things that you do call into question. Say, hey, is this it? Because I think the older he gets, we all are kind of waiting. Personally, I think he's probably got another year or two of being LeBron level. It's harder because LeBron himself was also hurt, wasn't injured. He was hurt. I
Right.
mean, still play. So I mean, I think we still got a couple good years, and I do want to appreciate that as a basketball fan.
And you
Um,
got to win next year though. You got to get out of first. You got to.
and I'm sure they will, provided health and all that. Which again, an aging LeBron, Anthony Davis has never been a picture of health. But I mean, the rest of the team is just, I hate saying it, it's like every other LeBron constructed team. Once you get past one or two guys, I mean, if you lose one or two guys, it's over. It's over. Those teams are poorly constructed. I said on the last pod, if they're once LeBron's done, Lakers are looking about 3 to 5 years of just shit. 3 to 5 years of just like, oh, I mean, look, Cleveland's at least exciting. They've got Darius Garland. They've got Colin Sexton. At least exciting guard play.
Right.
But they're trash team. Trash team. They're, at the very least, they have exciting players now.
They
But
do.
but for 3 to 5 years, once LeBron leaves, you're in the trash can. Miami's the exception, but Miami's also run by one of the best basketball minds ever
Right.
at Riley. So
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
all right, last sports thing I want to hit, guys, before we get to Jamie's story. Again, you guys see it? No, wrong. I grabbed the wrong side. Baltimore Ravens. I have to shout out the Ravens owner Steve Bisciotti. They donated $4 million to HBCUs in Maryland, $1 million apiece. The plan is to give Bowie, Coppin, Morgan State, and University of Maryland East Shore $1 million each for college scholarships. Man, I don't care why rich people do throw their money at things, but when they throw them at good causes, I honestly don't care the reason. Throwing $1 million at four HBCUs who also won a $577 million lawsuit because they were underfunded for years. Um, I think when rich people do stuff like that, he did it as a tribute to the general manager, the former general manager of the Ravens, Ozzie Newsome, as a way to, hey, he's been gone since 2018. He had never found a way he felt appropriately to honor Ozzie Newsome, who is black, um, and who is a huge part of the Maryland community, specifically Baltimore. But to donate $4 million, that's 80 total students. I mean, I honestly don't care. It's 80 people that have a better chance at a better life. I
Yep.
don't care the reason that rich people do stuff. I don't care if it's a tax write off. When rich people throw their money at good causes, I think it's a great thing. And of course, like I said, I'm a Ravens fan. I'm gonna throw it out there, but yeah. As every Friday is, guys, I want to focus on my guests again. Jamie and I have chopped it up a little bit over just our personal history, but Jamie is also currently on his way out the door. He is 22 and a half years in. He will be 23 and a half years in by the time he is done. But he's coming up on his retirement. I want. How does it feel, man? Because honestly, like I'm at 14,
Right.
and when I see people that I know get to that level where they're done, I'm like, man, like how does it feel? How where are you going? What are you doing? And like I personally know what you're doing. When
Right.
you post, was like, man, like when did I get old? Because this man's retiring.
Yeah. No. Right. Yeah. It's scary though. Honestly,
Yeah.
very very scary. Cause all I knew. Turned 18 2 months later. Now joined, and
Yep.
it. Uh, but it's weird. It's it's weird. Like I just turned over my position because I'm the AFE superintendent. Today was my last day as that. So,
Hey, I mean, probably a little bittersweet, but congratulations. I mean,
yeah. And then I'm going up to do. I'm working in the squadron until I retire as the op suit, and
okay.
so I'll be up there. I happen to be like there's a new first sergeant, and I'm good friends with her when I was a shirt, and then it's like it's gonna be a good crew, and excited about that until I'm done, and then I'll retire, and my retirement ceremony will be in October, and then I go to Skills Bridge. You know what Skills Bridge is?
No.
So Skills Bridge is a new program. We adopted it from the Army. Um, it's where we can do an internship for up to 6 months.
Oh.
Yeah, so any internship like if your dad works, if your dad had like uh, somebody's parent had a shop that they work in, you can go in and work in that shop for 6 months and call it an internship, but you still be getting paid by the military, but you wouldn't be getting paid by the company.
Okay.
So for me, I'm going to do real estate. So I'm I'll start there in October, like 3 days after I do my have my retirement, and then I'll be doing that for like 80 something days, and then taking the rest of my terminal. But so as soon as that ends, that place can hire me, and I can get paid during my terminal. So my 2 months out, whatever the time I have on my, I'll be able to
The double dip.
double dip for a few months. So
That's awesome.
yeah,
I mean, so this is not something we talked about offline. So what got you to real estate? Because for everybody that knows you, anybody that comes across you, you're a personable person. This is the same guy that I smacked in the face trying to snatch a ball from him during basketball, and was like, all right, like check it up. Checked it up. I smacked him in the face again, trying to swipe the ball from you. you smiled. It was like, don't do that again. But I mean, again, anybody that comes across you is like, hey, this guy's an infectious personality. He's a generally happy dude you don't want to cross because, again, you might not be tall. You're a thickly built dude. It's like, hey, I also don't want to fight him. But again, going from aircrew flight equipment, which is a technical skills job, and yes, you've been doing more of a leadership role type thing. But
Right.
to what got you to a real estate?
Um, I think it was when I was a first sergeant, like the people aspect of it. Um, I don't know, I learned a lot, and I learned a lot as a shirt, and like networking, things like that, and just generally taking care of people. And then I didn't really want a job that somebody was going to be over me with their thumb on, because I've been doing it for so long.
Right.
So, boy, Canada, I was stationed with him and the rest of the Pope crew um, in '99. We went to tech school at the same time, and
Yep.
now he's retired in June of last year. So he's about to hit a year, like coming up on the 20th something. And he been doing it, and he's been doing very well. He's down in Florida, and him and I are similar in that personality realm. And like, man, if he can do well, he's like, man, you can make a killing at this, da da da. So I was like, you know what? It gives me that freedom. Because when you're in, you miss a lot of time with your family, been
Yep.
in, and then you have like I don't want to miss that time with my youngest. I don't want to be gone for any more time than I need to be. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
yeah, and uh, I'm excited about it. If I could be a first time forever, I'd do that though. I love that.
Yeah. So you were first sergeant. I mean, it was after I had my time with you out at Little Rock. Um, to me, it's not surprising. I want to say I told you like when we were working together. And like I think your future is as a first sergeant. I think you make a dope first sergeant. I think again it was that personality of like hey like you manage to not handle people. It sounds like a dirtier word, but I mean you learned your way to finagle different personalities. Like
Yes,
that was the thing is, and they didn't have to jive with you. It did not have to be a like you're coming over for the weekend. It was like hey like we work together. Like I will make this work, and you always did. I never met a single person who was like yo f that guy to where it's like why's this man, obviously you were a tech sergeant at the time,
right.
but I was just like, why's this man on first sergeant? Mind you, we did the llama, was known as the llama. We had a good first sergeant at the time. He was a good dude, but I was like, man, Jamie's not a first sergeant sometime in his life. Like, what the fuck?
I think I
Because
think I was over there. Like, um, it was actually you remember Aaron Moore? He's the reason.
yep,
He's the reason I want to be a first sergeant. Like it was because like, 'cause I've been like in my head writing a book for years, right? And it was gonna be called More or Less.
oh god,
Yeah, and it was play on words. It was gonna be like basically me coming up and because life was different at Little Rock, like stressful. Was just a lot of going on. And the first thing I walk in, I see Moore doing push-ups. First thing I do, come in the flight office, I'm like, what's it? He's like, he didn't shave. And you remember, what's that civilian chick that used to work there? Mixed
Levitt,
lady, love it.
Levitt.
She would do push-ups. So I was,
Mm-hmm.
the next thing you know, like, all right,
She made me do my share of push-ups as well.
right. So he goes on the flight line, and then he gets in trouble, and I end up going to his house, and it was crazy. It was the worst house I've ever seen. And I was on base, and then I remember going back to a room, and a room was immaculate, and I was like, well, it had a snake in a cage or a case. He was like, "This is where I come to get away." And I was like, I looked at him, and I was like, because he had got in trouble for some domestic stuff. I'm like, oh shit, we got it wrong. It's the other way around. She's abusive to him.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, get the fuck out of here. And after that, you know, I got him good for a little bit, and then a little bit, and then we had a bunch of stuff happen, and but by that time I had already, I think I made master, and I started talking to the female shirt we had. I can't remember her name. Um, and I was like, so what does it take to be a first sergeant? 'Cause that's something I would like to do. And from that point, I did, and I got to Dover, and Dover was I was tired of eighth, man. Um, I ain't gonna lie, I was like, I was now like a flight chief. I just got tired of it, and
Yeah.
all in, I was like, man, let me. I didn't get picked up the first time because I think we had to make a 90 on PT test, right? And I was always getting 90s, but this one time in particular, I had walking pneumonia and I didn't know, so I went and was running, and we since we learned about in our career field about hypoxia,
Yep.
so basically my left lung stopped working when I halfway through the run. I was in front of everybody. I was gone. Me and one of my airmen. All of a sudden, I couldn't feel my legs and my arms, and I was running. Man, my one of my guys, Resendez, he he can imitate me so well. I was like a Walking Dead. I was like this, running. But
Yes.
I got to the finish line. I just fell over, and I looked up like, what's my time? And I was like, oh my gosh! But from the halfway point on, I was running like a zombie, but I wouldn't stop. Then he had to pick me up, and I had to put my hand over his shoulder. And by the time we get I had to go to the hospital, and so I got right right lung wasn't working because of pneumonia, and then I had rhabdomyolysis where uh, your muscle breaks down and tries to filter through your kidneys. All that was happening at once, and I had an 89.4 on my PT test, and I was mad, so I didn't make it the first cut. And then command chief happened to be in the building, and I was like, "Hey, sir, can I talk to you?" I was like, "Look, my shit is coming through. I want, I, I need to be a first sergeant." Then
Right.
on 2014 Christmas Eve, he said, "I got some good news for you. Merry Christmas, you're gonna be first sergeant." And then took my talents to being first sergeant. It was the best thing ever, ever.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So you went to the security forces squadron, right? That was your first.
My first one was I was a maintenance. It was maintenance, kind of like the maintenance group, small, gets you
Yep.
started. I was there 4 months, and then I went to security forces. And security forces was a different animal because um, you naturally are closer with them. Um, and every squadron I went to, I like to like be a part of what they're doing,
Right.
right? So whether they're while they're working a gate, anything like that, I that's what I like doing. And I noticed that like flight chiefs are gods in that world. And
Yep.
where else is like that? Flight chief is just another normal person that's a leadership role, but flight chiefs are it. And it was like, because as a shirt for them, you are the gatekeeper of the DNA roster, and
Yep.
that's funny. Like, hey, you're taking people down, and I'm like, that's not me. Like, it's just what it is. So, you know, They weren't crazy. They had some crazy wives. Um, Crazy. It was just, but it was a good squadron. I learned a lot. I learned to incorporate flight chiefs more in my next unit, which I went to. Um, like, when before I learned, I took stuff with me. Like, now I carry a gun because I learned all the stuff from them. Like different training, like SMC. Um,
Yep.
uh, you know, going the Red Man, like with the Ravens, and just getting to see all the stuff that they actually do, and people don't understand that they are cops. They're not just IDs. Like, my first, my commander, he would say, he was um, like he can motivate the hell out of you. Like uh, he was just he can. Every time I hear him talking to somebody, I'm like, damn, I'm re-blued every time. So he used to say, "You are living, breathing instruments of war, expert in the application of violence." That's what he would say.
Yeah.
So, and he always tell me, "You always have something to say, no matter what." Like, so he said, "Sure, what you got?" And I'm like, and then he told me I always have something to say. So no matter what, even to this day, just in case, like if you just popped in, told me to call me today and said, "Hey, what you got?" I'd be like, boom, I would have had something because that's the way I was trained, like conditioned to do it. And I came up with my own. I seen it somewhere. I was like, uh, what was it? Be professional, be polite, but have a plan to kill everybody.
Mattis.
Yeah, yeah,
That's a Mattis thing.
yeah. So I was like, I seen it. I was like, that's it because man, you taking IDs, but at the same time, oh shit, this dude got a gun. I gotta kill him. And so that's what I used to tell him as well. But after that, I went to maintenance. Maintenance was by far the craziest spot ever. So normally you go from if you're a cop first sergeant, you go from being a cop to cop first sergeant to go to like an air op squadron where it's gonna be like nothing going on,
A
but
little
because
more laid back.
right laid back, but because of timing, command she's like they need you over here, and it happened to be the biggest squadron on base, and
Right.
um and it was a senior spot, so they put me in it, and I was like hell yeah. So we had active duty, we had 488. We got like 40 in Massachusetts. So I used to go back and forth, Massachusetts and Delaware, up and down. Yeah, but it was man, crazy stuff. The best part about it was like to help people. Like that was it, man. Like helping. Like somebody come in and get Article 15, they're down. By the time they're in it, they're about to leave. Like I had no idea I was going. I thought today was gonna be an awful day, man. But here we are laughing, and I got Article 15 today because you give them a better outcome, And
Right.
I ain't never been that blue dude. I'm not a blue dude. I just want you to be the best you, whatever it's gonna be. Like
Yeah.
that's it. Whatever you do, just be the best at it. Like right now in the Air Force, so be the best at that. So, um, yeah, man, it was just uh, like seeing different things and suicide, death, and all that kind of stuff. It weighs on you, it just stays with you, and um, like it don't go anywhere. So it's those are the challenging parts. But at the end of the day, and you're able to be there for somebody who is going through something, is you can't, you can't match that feeling. So when I after I came here, because me and my wife got married in 2017. We were geographically separated. She was a textile instructor, and she was at Dover, and then the textile instructor went to Wright Pat. So for 4 years, like traveling back and forth. Then last year we got married. Then we got stationed here, and then I went to a rescue squadron, which
Right.
was 41st Jollies. Um, by far my favorite squadron. The crazy, like different world, but different mentality. But it was like family. You know,
Better than the 19th?
yeah.
Wow.
But you remember
Right here. That hurts right here. Better than the 19th?
that the 19th OSS, my my flight, like there's not nothing matches that. Like
Okay.
the
I was about to say, is like, I feel.
no, yeah,
I'm
the flight, like even like we had a good flight at Dover too. Um, but like it was 93 of us at Little Rock.
I feel like I think there was 100 something of us at Little Rock.
Yeah,
At
so it was like, and then we had 90 something aircraft, and we would like I, we all those all those separate buildings and all that kind of stuff, but we were tight. And so I'm talking about as a first sergeant. As like it's different. Like I might not have. I think I even like the commander at at Little Rock. Not at Little Rock. Got his name, but
Gas? Oh, Colonel Gas?
God, Colonel Gas. That was my dude. Colonel
Yeah, I was about. Believe me, I don't forget people
There
that
was
gave.
another one before him too, who was good.
Oh, you mean the old guy with the six pack? Because that dude made me feel bad about myself every day.
Might have been one after him then. I don't remember, but it was he. We used to joke on each other all the time. We had so Colonel Gas was so cool. I remember after I ruptured my Achilles and in Merrill, he's sitting there taking pictures of me on the thing, like, and he heard me scream when the nurse or the doctor went to move my foot and there wasn't nothing holding it. Uh, but
Well, you and Carlo, like I feel like we took him intramurals a little serious because you and Carlos had like some like major league injuries playing playing glorified pickup ball.
Carlos, he didn't. He was already like too hurt when I got there. So I never got to do like then. Like I wasn't even doing that when I did it. I was rebound went that way. I went to run, pop,
Well,
and that was damn. Though that was my last game. So Monday, that was on a Monday, and that or Tuesday, and Collins had died on Saturday because I remember we had 9.5 on our jerseys, and I remember going to his funeral, and I was on my crutches. I don't remember part of it because I was on Vicodin, and Vicodin is like giving me a roofie, and they showed me the pictures I know about when we were on the field, Lambeau Field, and but anyway, that's funny, all these memories. So that game before, I think Collins had like nine, I had nine on that Thursday, and it was just a good game. And then me, him, Ramos, Diaz, we all ran what we didn't call it at first. It's called the dick. So when you run on the back rows by ammo and then down all the way down by the 41st and back down to shop. Once you look at it on the map, when it like shows you on the map thing, it looked like a dick and balls.
oh, I know.
Yeah, so we were like, oh man, so man, this dick's like, man, we ran a dick, and um, Ramos and Ryan, they were gone. I'm like, shit, man. We just went to Hooters for going away or something, and I had all that Hooters in my stomach. But anyway, um, yeah, man, it was just, I did like the OSS. I liked to get in the military. The OSS was the best. Like, not military, but the AFE. The 19th OSS was the best squadron. As a shirt, I say the 41st was my favorite squadron. It's just because I got to fly in helicopters. I got to see what they do. Um, when they have first Fridays, they have first Fridays. There's no games. It's all so much fun. It's like you're not even. I had the funnest time there for 3 hours of my life. Like, um, I didn't know what to expect. The chief and commander had to warn me, like, hey, first sergeant don't usually last in these things. I'm like, man, I put up my 18 pack of Yingling, like, this is my offering. And after that, I was like, man, I'm hooked. I'm hooked. But it's weird when you go to different squadrons. Like, you gotta, you have to do something because they give you the cold shoulder. They don't know you. They don't trust you. Like, you
No, no.
trust when you go in there, so you gotta walk around basically campaign like I'm trustworthy. So, uh, first Fridays and those first Fridays they'd be like, when it's time like hail and farewell, they'd be like, hey, all right, we got so and so, we got Kyle waiting here. Hey, wait, come over here and talk a little bit about it. And as soon as you go to talk, everybody's like, shut the fuck up. You know.
Love
Then you go back and have a seat. So
it.
it goes. I'm like, I don't know if they're gonna do a shirt like that. They don't even know me. But after that, I went over there. I was like, God, I had been there for about a week or two. Yep, a week or two. And man, everybody's like cold shoulder, cold shoulder. And I was like, it was all right, sure, come introduce yourself. And I was like, I looked at everybody's room full of people, like 50, 60 people. Because we had our bar. And I'm like, he says, introduce yourself. And I was like, to everybody. And then they were like, you're going to fit in just right. And after that, I had them. And they was tight. We were tight forever. And even now, like, because I have eighth there in that building, I'm still allowed to use the gym, period. Like, my commander's still there. I go see him. We still go to lunch. We still do all that. Because you have, like, brothers as a shirt in the commander. You have, like, a brother relationship. Like, my
Yep.
last two commanders, like, were we would talk and about whatever. But, yeah, man, it was a good time. Rescue was a different world. And now I'm on the other side. Eighth is not, eighth. I've been gone too long. So to come back and
Well,
like, time to go.
I mean, it is one of those things, though. I mean, like it. I have to give you your credit where it's due. It wasn't like I'd always known as a younger adult. It's like this man is destined for good things, like outside of this career field, outside of this career field. But if anything proved that you were technically proficient, it was that day that you and I got into it because it was like, hey, like I just want you to be better. Like, and that's probably the thing that stuck with me most. Was it you weren't trying to make me as good? You're like, no, I want you to be better. Like this, you're like, I want you to do more things, and like you were technically proficient. You weren't while you were capable of campaigning and making people like you. Like you had that thing where it was like, hey, but I'm also really fucking good at my job.
Mm,
I'm also really good at the part of my job where whether it was working on equipment or doing the paperwork or handling other outside agencies,
right.
uh, to where I'm sure going from that to first sergeant to sort of, I imagine sort of back to that where it's like, oh, little different now.
Yeah, a lot different.
A lot. Well, I mean, let's be honest. Without giving away detail, like there were certain things that happened in like our shop in 2008, 2009. You know, probably wouldn't. Probably wouldn't be something we get away with. Making those jokes in 2021.
Yeah, no.
No, no. I mean, and that's
Even Jesse Snapper, like every there's a lot of stuff that wouldn't fly. I remember I was like, oh man, what the hell? Because I remember I wasn't around anybody for like a year after I PCA'd when I was in Right Pat, and before I came there, I didn't work with aircraft, and with between him and Mac, they was hazing the shit out of me. They were like anything like hazing me. I was just like, oh my god, I'm trying to learn these aircraft. I'm like, oh my gosh. And Jesse crazy like,
two of probably the best and two of the worst people to be like, hey, I'm trying to learn my job. They're like, yeah, but also we're gonna do this other stuff that's gonna make you really uncomfortable. You're like, oh,
ah,
okay.
it was so crazy. I never really spoke about it. Like it was so crazy. I broke bread because I was like flustered. I, I was driving on the other side. The cops never came, but oh man,
Hmm.
they never stopped.
Jesse was probably the ballsiest dude I ever saw because he habitually broke red like on the regular, and I was at no. He had definitely admitted to being put on his face, but I had never got put on. He's like, no, no, no. He's like, we're
Jesse,
either put on our face or not. But he was the ballsiest dude. And like, hey, I'm just gonna drift a little to the left. And be like, but that's the red line. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna drift a little to the left. Like,
yeah,
all
Jesse.
right,
Remember that?
was that?
Jesse used to be a cop.
I don't think he ever told me that he used to be a
Yeah,
cop.
he used to be security forces.
That makes all that knowing that now it makes all the sense just because That's what cops do.
Yeah, but Jesse was like a habitual line stepper, man. He was like, man, I don't give a fuck, man. And and to see where he is now is like, man, big change, man. Good for him.
Yeah, I mean that's that. I mean,
Either way, man, dude's amazing. So I learned a lot from him. Learned a lot from Mac. Mac's funny.
I mean it's funny because you're bringing the people. It's not that I've thought about them, but it's people that like. If I'm being honest with myself, I think about Ryan every other day. If um, like I was in Iraq and Yarbrough called me, and I thought he was funny. Yarbrough was like one of those dudes that would make kind of a fucked up call, like as a joke, to
Right.
where some people might watch and be like, "Oh my god, somebody make a joke about somebody being dead." Like, yeah, like we had a
But
buddy who.
you weren't there when it happened?
No, I was in Iraq. I was in Iraq, and I thought he was fucking because remember Ryan was supposed to be deployed, but his rotation got pushed because that rotation out in Afghanistan got extended.
Hmm.
So I thought I was being fucked with, and so like when I got that call in Iraq, like I thought I was being fucked with, and I had to call home and find out, and like somebody's like, I don't know how to tell you this, but like yeah, like Ryan died, and I was like, oh, but like like people like Mac, and Mac, again, Mac, another dude who just good at his job, but he was also good at fucking making that shop like, hey, like we're gonna have fun. Like we're gonna have fun. Like this job is not saying AIF is terrible, but
We're gonna have fun.
yeah, we're gonna have fun. I mean these people that come in and out of your lives. I mean, once honestly, I can't remember the last time you and I sat down and talked,
Right.
but like I can tell you, I've sat down and talked about you. I've sat down and talked about Ryan. I've sat down and talked about Nikki and Devin. Um,
I still
we,
talk.
to this day, I sit down and tell when we talk about some people are going to roll their eyes when they watch this because like when we talk about that integrity first shit, like those two people lost their jobs because they're two of the most honest people out there. They're like, hey, if I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna go out not as a liar.
Right.
And I sit down and tell younger airmen all the time, like I had two people that probably were on track to be chiefs. Chief.
100% did. Like did like she was she had everything planned. She made VTZ. She knew what she was gonna make staff, and I still hit her up like if I see a song on thing, cause she was like, remember I got racks on rack, and she didn't she know she said it too fast, and after everything happened, I it was when I had surgery. I told her to come to my house. I was like, what the hell happened? And we did a statement and everything there, just like I was trying to get ahead of it. Um,
Yep.
and but yeah, I talk about her often because she was like, man, she was gonna go somewhere. Her and Devin, like
Yeah.
it was going, and they,
Both.
very well. They're doing very very well. And I'm extremely happy. No matter what they do, they're gonna do a good job. Like I've always known that. Um, and I spoke about them the other day about after people get out of the military, come off the base and stuff like that, and I was like, why'd you escort him? I was like, 'cause I didn't want nobody else. Like, I wanted to, because normally the shirt does that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, that was too close to me. I go, and but it's always good to see him on Instagram, Facebook, and doing well, and because people don't understand, like, you don't let your mistakes define you. Like, you
No.
can be mad, like you can be mad at one, like you can look back at all your mistakes and be like, oh man, some people hold on to that and just like dwell on it, but eventually you just gotta be like, man, I fucked up, I'm human, and that's it. And I made choices in my life that like I wish I wouldn't have made, and um, but you learn from that, it makes you stronger, and you you move on. But you know, with with you guys at Little Rock. You know, it's you remember you remember when we got pulled in. Remember went to Jesse's and were over there,
Oh,
and
I already know where this is going. I
yeah,
already know.
and um, they were like, "Who was underage drinking?" And I was like, "I don't know. I really didn't know." So it wasn't like me, like I ain't telling. I wasn't gonna tell anyway, but I didn't know. I had no
Right.
idea. Like I was like, I don't know. I was like, I remember Whitney. Did she? I'm like, she always had a beer or something. Like I like that's it. But I know who they were trying to get to. Like found like who they were trying to get to it.
Oh, we all knew who they were trying to get
Yeah.
to.
Then in turn, and they just had us in there, and it was me and Mac. It was like, and then after we were like, we didn't know who it was. He's like, look, if you guys are gonna do that, it's Eminem. If you guys are gonna do that, just make sure somebody that works for OSI is not there. What about underage drinking? So I'm like, all right. And there was that one dude. He was like a fucking clerk or something for him, or something like taking notes and snitching. I'm like, man, you don't take your ass out of here. You got invited to here, and you gonna act like this. But you know, it's funny. It's funny those situations. And then when I was at church, like man, all these situations, and we always used to say, like me and my favorite group of shirts was at Dover. Man, they were my brothers. I got brothers now from there. Um, we used to tell everybody. We get them, all of us together. We tell everybody's like, man, everybody did shit. Said, and then we would get up and like, we just didn't get caught.
Yep.
Like simple as that. Like I didn't. We did stuff we didn't get caught, but because nobody's perfect. How the hell you gonna tell somebody like, oh, you can come back from this, or it's gonna be okay if you haven't done that yourself? Like this
Well,
is how it is. Scared straight.
I mean, and it's funny because like you have that outlook, and like I was fortunate enough to come across that because you brought up that situation, and like like I snitched myself out. Like they're like, hey, they're like, did you drink? Like, was that?
They weren't even talking about. They just was
Nope,
asking
nope.
you,
They were just asking.
hot Miller.
They asked me about the other two underage people there. I knew which one they were going at. I said no, and they asked me, and I was honest. And no, not a single other person, said a word about me. But they're like, hey, like, did you? And I was like, yeah. I was like, I did. I had 2 beers with dinner, you know. And they're like, oh God. And the same thing that you just
Like
did.
you,
Just
you spoke you were like you were supposed to be drinking. Like yeah, I had a scotch with wine, a scotch with lunch. Like it was something you're supposed to be doing. I'm like this, yeah. Well, Wade said this. I'm like, oh my gosh, this dude is gonna ruin everything.
I mean, and it was, but it was one of those moments where I was shown grace because they one they weren't trying to get me, but they also put it out there like, hey, because remember that during that party, during that get together was when I got tasked to go to Germany, and then they're like, hey, we're about to send this 19-year-old kid to Germany where you can legally drink. But they're like, hey, like if you mess around at all, that's it. Like you're messing around happened here. Like you don't get a second chance while you're in Germany. Um, but like fortunately, I was afforded grace at that time. Um, Later in my career, when I was going to New Zealand, I didn't know anybody in maintenance. I didn't know anybody in op. So I went down to a towny bar in Hawaii because to get to New Zealand we had to stop in Hawaii for a day, or at least for the night. So go to a towny bar. I get, I was of age, but I get entirely too drunk. Go back to my room, sleep it off, shower, get on the bus, start feeling a little sick. I was like, oh, this is happening right now. We're on a bus. It's a 20-minute ride from the hotel to the base. I puke out the bus window, and no joke, the person sitting behind me is the mission commander. I had
Mm.
no, No clue. The guy that sent behind me was the mission commander, and he's like, "Oh, you feeling sick?" I said, "Yep." He didn't say a word to me. We got to New Zealand, and he just I had to do my job. He stuck around, offered a ride back to the hotel that we were staying at, and he said, "Hey, I just need to let you know, like, I know why you were doing that. Um, you know, if you've ever watched Family Guy, you know, Spider-Man gives you one, and he's like, hey, he's like, this is your one. He's like, you're vomiting it off the bus in Hawaii. He's like, that was your one. He's like, you don't get to play around in New Zealand. You don't, which is funny because we ended up getting a couple drinks out in town in New Zealand. But he's like, hey, if you want to act up, if this is the person throwing up out the bus is the person you are, um, he's like, hey, he's like, we're gonna send you back to Washington. Like, oh, and I tell people the stories because I'm like, hey, it's like I do see, I've clearly been a benefactor of being honest. I've never seen the reason to lie, but I also know it doesn't always go that way.
Right.
Right. But having first sergeants like you, and I assume the rest of that group at Dover were like, hey, like it's like things aren't always just black and white.
Oh no.
Having people like that, because people aren't afforded that. You do have some people out there that are like, hey, my job is to enforce rules, and you broke them. I'm sorry.
Cops.
It depends on like
Well, a lot of times it's cops
yeah,
because that's their job to see black and like everything's black and white. This is cool. You broke it. Fell asleep on post. You broke it. You left post limits. It happens. Um, and that's just the way it was, and
yep,
you can shield them the best way you know how, and But the good thing about you establish relationships, though, like I still talk to people, like there's cops that call me about relationship stuff, about life. Like, hey, I got this situation going on, da da da, and still contact me. My first squadron, maintenance ops, do still hit me up, like, and you just establish a lot of relationships, and that's the best part about it, because you can touch somebody's life, and that's it. You got a friend for life, somebody that's at least they feel comfortable coming to you about stuff. So that's the good part about it. Some people thought I sucked, I think, though.
I mean, and you know what? It's everybody's not for everybody, but that's the thing is like, we had 100 and something people in AFE, and I'm sure there's one, there's one. He never said anything to me, but we weren't friends. But I'm sure there's one that didn't like you because, to my knowledge, you stuck up for me in a meeting. Um, but I never heard a bad word about you.
You who you talking about?
Uh, Little short dude, bald, glasses.
Johnson.
Yeah, Johnson. I'm sure he didn't like you, but I mean, this when you didn't have conflicting interests, like that was the thing is people knew, like, hey, like once people came and got to know you, once people came to Flightline, there's like, hey, like, yo, that's Sergeant Beard. I was like, yeah, yeah, that's the guy. Like, that's, you want that guy on your side. Like, he will help you. He will help you, but he'll also teach you that
Right.
he can't help you if you don't help yourself. Like, there's certain lessons that, again, I learned that I was like, hey, if I didn't run across this man and almost get in a fight with him, like, I might, like, hey, I mean, to be honest, I kind of block out the negative, other than the time I double slapped you, just because I feel, to this day I still feel bad about it. Like, I will be playing basketball and be hesitant about swiping at the ball because I'm like, I remember when I smacked Jamie in the face twice in a row. Like, I feel bad about it. Like, what if I smack the guy in the face?
Smack me in the face.
But like that's it's things like that. Those lessons that I'm like, hey, like if
About my in
I
the face.
some of these lessons, like I wouldn't have made as far as I did. Like
That's funny,
with
man. I wouldn't have remembered it. I wouldn't have remembered that smack in the face stuff. You didn't say nothing. I forgot
I
all.
mean, again, being that I play pickup basketball often enough, it does cross my mind. Hey, if I swipe up, like if I just swipe to knock the ball like up into the air, like I can smack this dude in the face. Like that's where my head goes. And it's like around that time that twice. It was twice within the span of like maybe 15 seconds to where it's like the fact that this man did not snatch me up at the time was like, man, this guy's
Something I,
got like I need to get on this level because I'm down here. I need to get up here because this man just got smacked in the face twice. It was like, all right, don't do that again. I was like, all right,
please,
cool.
please
Like,
don't smack. Yeah.
oh man, I mean, April's long time away, short time away. I mean,
Yeah. It's
you
short. October's a short time because that's when I'm like, all right, I'm pretty much living up to my last name from that point on. Rick Ross in it until.
oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
not bringing back the Tiger Woods haircut though, right?
No hell no. Same never had Tiger Woods haircut. I see you posted, seen that, but I was like, I ain't let my hair grow. I'm letting my beard grow though. It's gonna be like this. It's gonna be crispy though.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, it's the first thing everybody. I've been off military duty for a month, and this is what happened.
What you do? You a traditional gardener?
Yeah, so I'm
What,
on that. I've got some pre-mob stuff. Yeah,
some what?
some pre-mobility stuff. So I have some classes in school and
What
some.
What do you do when you're not doing that?
I'll work at a prison.
I think I knew that. Okay.
Yeah, working.
Oh, in San Antonio.
So right now that I'm in San Antonio, I am being a stay-at-home dad. Uh, yeah, Kelsey's working. I'm getting. This is probably the most time I've had with any of my kids, like without having to take off for a while. So I mean, I'm enjoying that right now. Just I mean, you know, to be honest, like there's some stuff that's coming around with my youngest that I didn't experience with my two other children. That I'm like, oh, like what are you supposed to do? I'm like, I don't know. Like I have two other kids that are older, but like I don't know because I was in another country for this.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, like I'm actually excited because I'm getting some firsts with my current partner. Because this is what I tell people is, I did a lot of firsts in my marriage to where, like you want to make your relationship feel special and I really do. And I'm fortunate enough to get some of these firsts with my youngest daughter, with, my current partner. Um, like I count my blessings every day because it's hard to sit around and be stay at home dad, but at the same time, um, I'm really fortunate because not I know a lot of people uh, have had time, including myself at times, who've not gotten to experience certain things with their kids.
Yeah. I'm happy. I'm happy you get to do that, man. And, how long you been in San Antonio now?
Um, I mean, so I moved before my last deployment, so it'll have been by the time I leave again, it'll be about 2 years.
So I was there in May of 19. Were you there then?
Mm-hmm. I was here.
I
I
didn't know
was
you.
here so my daughter was born in May of 19.
Yeah, if I'd known, I would have came and checked you out.
Hey, I'm always up for it, and that's why I tell people. People come here. I'm being fortunate enough to get to go see some friends out in Alabama who are in the same military situation. Can't go anywhere, so I'm going to see them before I go. Um, but hey, anytime people come out to San Antonio, I make I want to make time for them, especially while I have the time.
Right.
Uh, all right, man.
Yeah, I'm just looking at. What you,
Hey, I think that's it. You got anything else, man?
no, man. I appreciate getting on here and chatting and catching up and everything. But
I mean,
definitely got to stay in touch, man. And as we got a nice little podcast going on. So it is a play on words, waiting room, right?
yeah, I did not pick this name, but yes, it was I'd sent out a poll very early and say, hey, what do y'all want to see? And people picked waiting room. And I was like, hey, it might not be the permanent name, but for right now, it just it works. Play on words.
Man, you need to wait. Dot dot dot. Team.
I mean, well, see, I had my buddy Sam. He said it probably 2 days after I started the podcast. He's like, you should have gone with hurry up and wait because of the military aspect. I was like, you about 2 days late, bro. Like, where? Because he suggested a couple of things. I was like, you're being a little silly, bro. But
hurry
like,
up and
hurry
yeah,
up,
hurry up and wait.
hurry up and wait. I mean, it's again, things aren't permanent right now. I'm gonna stick with that. I have that in my pocket if we do change the podcast name. We're at the part, man. Is there any words you want to throw out for people? Is there anything you want to promote? I know you are coming up on your job. Not sure that anybody in Valdosta is watching, but again, what do you got for the people, man?
Um, why you? My son being nosy. I don't know what's going on.
The Julius?
Yeah,
Hey, Julius. Hey, I saw you run around diapers, man.
Huh?
you probably seen Pricing run around no diaper when he's potty training. Me mugging like this my peanut. Like yeah. Hell on. Go play a game. And words is my favorite thing. Just be great, whatever y'all do, man. Period. Firm believer of just whatever you gonna do, be the best at that. Period. Like that's what I always try to do, and I'm gonna continue to try to do that as I'm moving on to real estate and getting out there in this world, man. And this right now is good out there, so I'm gonna see how it is. And my wife got 7 years left, so I'm gonna go where she goes.
Hey, it's good, man. It's good. I'm confident you're gonna do great, brother. And listen, I don't have anything to add to your words. Yeah, be great.
But good to see you all grown up, man.
Little grown up, little grown up. Again, I still
Little grown up.
got a
So
little time.
stop being so prideful. That's my listening to our conversation earlier. Conversations. Every battle, every pick and choose your battles. That's what you learn. If you for nothing, because he's like, man, I don't like the way he spoke to me. I don't like the way it's like, okay, chill out. Because I had a captain say, come to me. I was like, hold on, chill out. We're both men. Let's have a conversation. Because if I didn't teach y'all nothing, is always do stuff with tact. Like be tactful, because you can get smart with somebody all day long being tactful.
Yep.
And just like, I don't know whether to punch him or like say thank you, But that's what I say for you. The takeaway is, you can tuck away your pride, and because you have to, whatever you do, you gotta lead by example. That's what I do for my kids. Is I gotta be the blueprint of what they should be, or what my daughter should want to choose. So as long as I do that, I think I'll be good. Same for you. No more. Don't be threatening nobody.
Hey, man, it's not threatening. It's just politely reminding people, we're all grown.
Yeah.
Uh,
Another thing you can learn, and this is how I do. You treat everybody like they can whoop you, and it'll be fine. Because if you treat everybody like they can kick your ass, you always can be respectful. But
yep.
like, people now, they stand on that rank. I'm like, man, I will beat your ass out here.
I mean,
So
honestly, that's the one thing because I'm about 215 right now. Like
mm,
215 is not a small person. Working in a prison, 215 is not a big dude.
oh no,
That's the one thing I learned about prison is like I go running, I do push-ups, I do sit-ups, I lift when I can. Um, you treat everybody like they can beat you up. Like it's
yeah.
it, it,
You,
it's another way to look at
I
people.
don't treat them like they know they can whoop me. I treat them like just with respect, like mutual respect. I'm not. You're not afraid of somebody because they can whoop you. You just treat them with respect. Like I'm as simple as that. Like you can be the smallest person or the biggest person. You just have a conversation because a big motherfucker can get his ass whooped too.
It's true.
Yeah, so
It's true, man. Uh, as always, guys, I'm going to promote the people that got me started, and guys that are out here supporting me as well. Taj TV, Taijh. He will be on tomorrow. Again, he doesn't always say the popular thing, but he does say how he feels. I support him. I appreciate him for getting me started. Taijh, Taj TV on Facebook. Truth Valley Church. I'll say this every time. I know it sounds redundant. If you're not religious, hey, it's not for you. If you're curious, if you are religious, you're looking for an online ministry, or if you're in the state of Arizona, specifically around Phoenix, Truth Valley Church, great bunch of men and women doing things for God. I appreciate them. Check them out. And the Arizona Flag Company. Jason's goofy. I'm going to be honest, guys. Jason's a goofy dude. However, like most people that I keep in my life, he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. He's good at his job. He puts out quality work. Reach out to him. The Arizona Flag Company on Facebook. I appreciate him. I'd be silly if I didn't promote my own podcast. Again, I don't know if anything I'm saying, anything my guests are saying resonates with anybody out there. But if it does, if you think I'm wrong, if you want to chime into the show, but you don't want to do it during the show, KyleTheWait@gmail.com. Instagram, I'm real bad about Instagram. I'm real bad about social media. WR Podcast Official on Instagram, as well as Waiting Room Podcast on YouTube. Guys, I'll see you Wednesday. I appreciate everybody that watched, everybody that showed up. Jamie, thank you for coming on and sharing your story. I appreciate you.
love you, man.
All right.